in Weihai, right at the tip of Shandong here in China. We are, of course, here with day number 2 of our coverage of DreamHack qualifiers. That would be day number 1 of the China qualifiers, the open qualifiers at any rate. I am, of course, your host, Yaku of Zaku, and with me today is El que se lo devuelva, el día que hoyes, like _VIP. How we doing, Light?
Oh, what's up, Yaku? Yes, we are here. We are back with day 2, as you said, of the DreamHack Open Qualifiers. Oh my, and we are back here covering some Chinese StarCraft, and it's a little bit bittersweet. You know, we get to see all these returning players duking it out, but as we were going live, I did get news that we did lose one of our players that was actually seeded into the next round.
Yeah, very unfortunate there. Firefly has decided to give up his spot. It looks like he's going to be retiring from competitive play for at least quite some time. I mean, we've seen a lot of players retire and then come back and then retire again. But yeah, he's definitely going to be missing out on this season of DreamHack. But it does mean that we have an additional slot open here in the open qualifiers.
It does.
Who's it gonna be? Is it gonna be here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner, the blue Protoss player coming out from the land of China? He is, of course, gonna be representing clan. I remember this. Starlight. Twinkle. Yeah. I was like, it's not Shine. It starts with a T. He is known here as Yuki, but known everywhere else as ReWhite.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Light Shade Early. I blanked out for a minute because I looked at the text and then my brain went blank. It just like, where are we? Where are we?
We're in
We're not online. Apparently, we in the bottom right-hand corner we have the teal Zerg player, the Chinese Zerg. It is LAN.
Is it LAN or LAN?
LAN?
Yeah. You know, LAN?
What? Where's the
Yeah,
end?
LAN
Where's
or
the end?
LAN?
Where's the end coming
It's
from?
LAN!
Where's the end coming
LAN!
from? What are you talking about?
No, you said it. LAN.
What do you mean? What?
You said it. Like, how do you say it?
What is wrong with you? Oh my god. But yeah, mate, this is something that the people have been asking for a long time.
LAN, yeah. It has been something that's never really been implemented in StarCraft 2, has it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Never has, never will, until now, finally, 2021, you know, 11 years later, we got it, mate. LAN.
But only in DreamHack China.
Yeah.
Qualifiers, open qualifiers.
Exactly.
Did that probe just spray a Zerg symbol?
It did. I was very confused as well as to what just happened here. Is Yuki off racing?
It's a message. It might be.
Oh my god. Alright, so here we are. Of course, we're getting into our first series of the day. We have casted Yuki, aka ReWhite, in the previous season of DreamHack. That is why we are familiar with the clan tag. We looked it up, I remember, and we found out what it was, and we're like, you know what, it's not too, like, Twinkle isn't the most imposing name, but it's like, okay, sure, yeah. You can do you.
Well, it's not a very imposing name, but it's a very inspiring name, you know?
It is.
They're gonna shine like a twinkle.
Like a star.
Exactly.
Boy,
Which,
Solo.
again, this is why I'm thinking... Which is why, again, it's like, you know, Starlight shine? You know,
Yeah, it would.
You do you.
Yeah. Well, I think last time we theorized that maybe Twinkle was like a translation error. Like, as in, like, maybe... Yeah, maybe the word for Twinkle does mean, like, shine in Chinese or something, but they just went with Twinkle or... Yeah.
To be more accurate? Question mark.
I don't know. Look, we were theorizing, okay? We don't know. Oh god, but this is our first our first debut of LAN here on the CranKy Ducklings. Like, we're not really too sure what to expect from him.
Really is, which is why I've got my eyes on him. You know, on the other side of that coin, ReWhite doing about what I remember ReWhite doing the last time we've been able to cast him. Standard Stargate play.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, we do have a Stargate opening here. The first Void Ray does come out across the map. LAN did scout the Void Ray, by the way, so he already started these spores. They're already being produced. They're not in the best position for a Void Ray, but, you know, at least he has them. He's continuing to produce queens. Right now, we're just waiting for the next step from Yuki. You know, is he going to throw down another Stargate? He's at least not stopping the Void Ray production.
Yeah, I feel like at this point you may as well. It is still possible to transition out of this, get a Twilight Council, and go for something more gateway heavy, but it will delay quite a bit, won't it? I feel like if you were going to do that, you want to not go up to triple Void Rays.
Yeah, it would have already been in production. You're 100% right there. So we do see the tech of choice. It is not going to be a Twilight Council, not yet anyway. It is going to be a Robo, and this should be indicative of Void Ray into, I would imagine, Disruptor from here, right?
I mean, what else would it really be here? Yuki not looking to be too aggressive right now, so he's getting that third base. He knows he needs something more than Adepts and Void Rays to defend against Roaches.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, he's gonna...
No.
Yeah, he's gonna need it, right? Like, the Roach Warren's already done, you know, we do, of course, have plenty of Queens coming out. Meanwhile, the Adepts are headed into the Natural, and I'm a little bit concerned because, like, even though the Roach Warren's been done for a while, there are no Roaches.
Yeah. Weirdly gonna be delayed. He might not even want to go for a big Roach push if that's the case. Or just be a safety Roach Warren.
Oh, God. Oh, no! And just like that, the Spore... Yeah, the Spore at the third base goes down. The Queens are a little bit out of position. Made this base. It's getting so close to going down!
Prismatic alignment is being used. The Void Ray goes down. There's the first transfuse. And it will be enough to keep that alive. He's targeting it again. Trying to see what he can get away with. Not a whole lot. Surprisingly, the hatchery does survive. Thanks to a very key transfuse.
Mate, LAN is so lucky, by the way. Like, Yuki was mismicroing a little bit. He did have one Void Ray a little bit too close to the edge. So it died to the DPS from those Queens. So maybe with a little bit more control there, this base would have gone down. He's lucky that all that DPS was kind of wasted on that base and not on drones, right? Because in the end, the base survived.
Yeah. Well, quote-unquote lucky, as these Void Rays, they do not want to return home empty-handed.
True. Very true. The Spore wasn't remade either. The Queens are just now coming back over. Oh, and... Okay.
I don't even have to creep tumors to keep that base alive.
Yeah, LAN is kind of lucky as well that Yuki was spending time clearing creep instead of going for the throat, going for the base. To be fair, Yuki didn't know the positioning of the Queens. He didn't know if they were already there in position for the Void Rays.
Yeah, and it would be hard to maneuver out of if he just ended up landing in the middle of a bunch of Queens. He's going straight for the main base, trying to see if he can snipe any tech, but most of the tech is in the Natural.
That it is. Speaking of the Natural, we do have the Roaches coming out from the Natural, going for a bit of a counterattack, but we were talking about it. The Disruptors, they're coming out. The first one is a little bit exposed. We do see the Lynx trying to get a wrap around, but their shield batteries, their cannons. Oh, and with the Disruptor here, it's going to be so difficult to break the third.
Time wants to go for it anyway. Best case scenario, he's able to kill that Disruptor before the Purification Nova lands. He's got a lot of Ravagers, which he can use against shield batteries. Better in the back line. That's a juicy Purification Nova. Only clearing out Lings for now, but Lings is still a pretty important buffer for LAN. That's an even better Purification Nova, and I think Yuki just about has it.
Yeah, unfortunately, there were Roaches, there were Ravagers, but where were the Queens? Where was the anti-air? When you go for a Roach Ravager Queen push, the Queens are a part of it.
They're taking their time.
Now they were on the way. I guess a part of it was the creep that was being cleared out earlier, but unfortunately, LAN was missing a crucial part of that army there to try and hit the third.
Yeah, just overall a battle not going LAN's way whatsoever, and now he's trying to scramble and make up for that. He's quickly trying to get a fourth base, Operator 4 trying. Void Rays put an end to that. Yuki is a Protoss player on 4 bases against LAN, Hazard player on 3.
Yeah.
How terrifying is that? Like,
It's
perspective.
you never want to be in this position right now. Like as you were saying, LAN, he's down in workers, he's down in bases compared to the Protoss player, and he's down in tech as well. Like again, he didn't get a Hydra on the my apologies. He does have a Hydra. He does have an answer to the Void Rays, but he needs Hydras. Like the reason why I didn't think he had one was because right now we just have Roaches and Ravagers.
Yeah. I guess that Hydra didn't finish up pretty recently then? Using a couple Hydras right now, but again, he doesn't really have the economy to get away with that production. Start just getting some very key hits on the Ravagers, even recalls them away once they've done their job. Yuki can just win from this moment on with nothing but Void Rays.
Exactly. Yuki's efficiency is absolutely insane as the Void Rays just power on through. There's no anti-air, and GG gets cold.
Yuki, otherwise known as ReWhite, takes game number 1.
GG, and a very solid game number 1 there. I do feel like LAN had a lot of like the tools that he needed in the end. You know, like as in Queens and Rich Ravagers and Hydras. Like I guess he had the tech that he needed, but he just didn't have, never like had the army. You know, never had the units.
Yeah. And when he did try to go for those attacks, you know, the units, it looked like they were kind of doing their own thing, right?
Yeah.
Lings running on forward, Roaches morphing into Ravagers in the middle of the map, Queen's still far in the back line. You know, sometimes you do, you know, have to calm down a little. Make sure your army's in position before you hit. It would have been hard regardless, I guess, because of all the defensive setup that Yuki had, but still, couldn't have helped.
It would have. It definitely would have. Meanwhile, I just want to give a bit of a shout out here to Apoptosis for giving us a raid. Not just Apoptosis, but also his, I believe, coach, if I'm not wrong. They do practice together.
Oh,
Grimy UK.
There we have it. Thank you very much, and welcome. Welcome to day number 1 of the DreamHack China Open Qualifiers.
Exactly. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, we have been covering the qualifiers for every single region so far. You know, we've been covering the qualifiers for Taiwan, Hong Kong, and North America this morning. Latin America is tomorrow morning. So yeah, if you enjoy our casting, if you want to tune in for the qualifiers for DreamHack, then hit that follow button. Follow us here on the CranKy Ducklings.
Yeah. Especially if you want to hear Steel Mill Theory coming out later.
Oh god.
I gotta continue to tease it. I don't know when I'll bring it up. Probably when we have time to kill. But regardless, we are gonna be continuing our series here on. I just looked at the Mandarin character slide. I can't read them. Oxide LE. See, I read Oxide LE from that. Haha. In the bottom left-hand corner, or swelling all the way in the bottom left-hand corner on the map, we have the Red Protoss player coming down from the land of China. He is, of course, going to be representing his clan, Starlight Twinkle. As he is a star, he is known elsewhere as ReWhite, but here as Yuki. Or Yucky.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Chinese Zerg player. He is blue, representing himself. It is LAN.
Or LAN.
What is wrong with you? What?
It's capitalized.
Uh-huh. Did you
So
say...
read out the letters.
Uh-huh. Yeah? Go
LAN.
on. Uh-huh. What?
You read out the letters.
Uh-huh.
LAN.
What's the letter?
At the end there? N.
Yeah, N. That's the letter,
Yeah,
right?
N.
N. Yeah, that's the letter, right?
Yeah. It is. I don't know what you have. I don't know why you're having troubles understanding that.
You're having trouble speaking English right now, Yaku. God damn.
Still didn't tell me he speaks English.
Oh god. Alright, here we go. So we're getting into game number 2. Also, I also wanted to give a bit of a shout out to Oreo in the chat. I don't know if you noticed what he said, but it just now hit him. He's like, I feel like Yaku just says something random every single time. And Girl's like, yep. And he's like, what?
It's not entirely random.
There is logic to the madness. There is logic to the madness. 100%. Yaku comes up with a phrase that doesn't necessarily make sense, but he comes up with it. Then he puts it in Google Translate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know what you said today. I just can't remember.
Oh, it was some Wonderwall related.
Wonderwall?
Wonderwall. E.
Good.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. Not about today being the day that you're gonna throw it back.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And that's it, yeah.
Just throw it back.
Yeah. You're throwing it back today. much like Yuki with the Stargates.
Yeah. I mean, what we saw from Yuki was pretty standard, and now we're looking to LAN to see if he can improve somewhat on his response there. Like, you can go for queen walks on a map like Oxide. It can sometimes be a little bit more difficult, but it's possible.
Yeah, I guess it also depends on the position of your third base as well. You don't really have the speed zones like you do on Jagannatha, but it can still act as a bit of a launch pad depending on where your opponent got their own third base at. Yuki, however, is not going for a Void Ray first this time. It's an Oracle, but not just one Oracle. I'm hoping if I say that, he'll get a second one. I said not just one Oracle. She's not producing on it.
Meanwhile, instead of looking at that non-existent Oracle, the two Adepts actually killed 8 drones. Jesus Christ. There it is. Second Oracle is on the way. So Yuki switching things up entirely here. What's important to note is that, again, with 2 Adepts, 8 drones went down. Unfortunately, LAN was being incredibly greedy, just relying on a handful of links to try and clean up those Adepts, and he didn't pull the boys. Meanwhile, the Oracle dives in once again, gets 3 more kills, and escapes.
Almost could have been disastrous there for Yuki, but now he has not just one Oracle. He has 2, and he's making a third.
I was about to say, man, he doesn't just have 2, he has 3 on the way, and why stop there, right?
Well, I think because 3 is
he's gonna
about
stop
the
there.
most efficient. Yeah, it is about the most efficient that you can really get. I mean, you can try to risk it and get a 4th if you were really paranoid and want to throw down a bunch of stasis wards, but it just cuts into your supply a lot. And also with 3 Oracles, you can vaporize a mineral line, no time flat.
Yeah, you can. Unfortunately, the second Oracle did go across the map, and this time didn't find any damage whatsoever. The Queens were in position. We already have spores being thrown down because of the first one, so now LAN is much better prepared. But, you know, now that they've kind of joined forces here, they can dive in and one-shot workers despite the spores. So I am a little bit worried for LAN, not gonna lie.
Gonna be pretty risky for Yuki, though, since his Oracles are already damaged, but this is why he's setting in his Adepts. He's trying to distract the workers as best he can. Corral them outside of Spore Crawler range. One of the Oracles will go down. It's unfortunate, but a whole lot of drones go down with it.
Exactly. The Adepts get into the main base. Once again, the Oracle also chipping away at the drones at the natural base. And, oh my god, another 9 drones full. Yaku, please.
Man, Yuki's getting more drone damage with his Adepts than he is with his Glaveless Adepts than he is with these Oracles.
This is
and he's
true.
already getting a lot of damage with the Oracles, and that's it. LAN taps out. I guess we're never getting that in StarCraft 2. Don't even have time to pull up the GG button. GG, a bit of a frustrating game there for LAN. Can definitely understand tapping out, but you know, that was a possibility for him to keep going, but he would always have been behind. It's understandable why he tapped out when he did.
Yeah, like he was falling apart at the seams there. It was not looking good. And as you said, you know, there is a reason why we're just never getting LAN in StarCraft 2. Feels bad, man.
And the pressure is all on his shoulders.
But with that, congratulations to ReWhite, aka Yuki. He does move on in the bracket to the quarterfinals to face his opponents. His opponents, who I don't think we have yet. I think that may have been the first series that finished. Question mark?
Apparently not. Apparently that was the second series that finished up. There was one more that was faster than this. But that doesn't mean we have a match yet, so we have a lot of players waiting right now, including I think this is Dragon. It's on the bracket. It's in
Oh,
Mandarin
oh,
characters. I think that's Dragon.
I forgot about
I
Dragon.
think so. I could be wrong. He did get a bye since he was pretty close to make it. I think he made it to the close qualifiers last season. Yeah.
Maybe.
So
So,
seeding wise, it does favor him a bit. We also have Hyperion on the other end of that bracket. A very
yeah.
familiar name, especially if you tune into a lot of ESL Open Cup Asias.
Mm.
Those participations are really paying off for him. Got himself a nice little buy in round number 1.
Yeah, they really are. Like Hyperion, we've casted him many times here on this channel, so hopefully we get to cast a little bit more of him later on. But you reminded me of Dragon. I remember Dragon was one of the players where on the bracket and in game and on Korea
And
he
on
had different names.
Wikipedia.
And
Yeah.
yeah.
And on Wikipedia and on Korea, it was all
Yeah.
different. He had 2 different, like, Latin alphabet names,
Yeah.
and then 2 different Mandarin names.
Yeah, it was really hard finding him in the lobby to get into his games. Not gonna lie, I remember I had to use my phone to try and like translate and stuff. Oh my god.
To, like, aim it at the monitor.
Yeah,